One thing about, the other night, I think it was last night, we played 6 months of President Trump, that video. And it's like, on one hand, it seemed, wow, it's already been 6 months. But on the other hand, it's like, that's all it's been? Because so much has happened in only 6 months, Rick. I mean, it's been a staggering amount of things that have occurred. Everything from, the border. We've got more people crossing the border or trying to cross the border, more patrol that are keeping people from crossing the border than ever before. For the first time, that's flipped, and we've got a lot of stuff. That's just one aspect of what's happened in 6 months.
Okay.
It's the exact opposite of, the Obama years. Remember when Obama came in, it was like,
oh my God, these people are obsessed with Obama. Who gives a f*** about Obama? My God, dude, get a grip on reality. Is that all you can think about?
whack-a-mole, man. We were trying to keep up with all the bad that was being done, and we're just trying to take on these tough topics, and it's so fast, and we're dealing with this over here, and then he's doing this bad thing over there, and it's the opposite of that. We cannot keep up with the good news, and of course, there's a few things we don't like, which we always cover here on FlashPoint to make sure we're being, good, the bad, and the ugly, telling.
Yeah, these guys are who I go to for honest commentary. Absolutely.
But man, there's so much good. I'm telling you, Gene, there are things happening behind the scenes that we're not even going to know about for another year. There's stuff happening inside the agencies, inside the White House, inside the military that is really, really good. And it's all these little restoring of the principles that made the country great in the first place. So, man, couldn't agree more. Lots of good happening.
Lots of good happening. All right, let me jump right into this. Benny Johnson posts, don't miss this. The Department of Justice just confirmed that President Obama ordered the FBI to shut down the Clinton email scandal.
Shut down the Clinton email scandal. I'm not sure what they're talking about here.
FBI Director James Comey followed orders and he buried it. It was a clear, high-level criminal cover-up worse than...
Oh, I understand. Right. I see. Okay. I understand what's happening. I was misreading it. I think what they're saying here is that Donald Trump is trying to distract people from the Epstein files and the fact that he's a pedophile. That's what I think this is saying here. That's my mistake. Big old dummy over here. I don't see how this could possibly be interpreted as anything other than what it is. Trump trying to distract us from the Epstein files and the fact that he's all over them. And the more time goes on, the more I become convinced that Trump was like in league with Epstein and helping. The more videos that I see. Oh, this is a perfect opportunity to point out buttery males again. Yes. These people cannot get buttery males off the brain. They're constantly talking about Hillary's emails. Her emails. Her emails. But her emails. But her emails, but her emails, buttery males, buttery males. That's all they talk about. Buttery males. They've got buttery males on the brain 24/7, and they need help. Also, this is a clear-cut case of them trying to cover up the Epstein file situation. This email situation, though, do you know what happened? This was so long ago. I had to look into this in detail. This is what happened. Hillary Clinton was using... instead of using like the Democratic National Convention or whatever, like instead of using the DNC email system, she was using her own email system. But the DNC is not a government email. It's a private organization, the DNC is. So there shouldn't be any kind of problem with her using her own private email. And as far as I can tell, there isn't. She didn't say anything questionable, or there's zero evidence for anything questionable being discussed on there. But they turned it into this massive scandal that it shouldn't have been. It's absurd. There was no scandal to be had. There's no illegal anything about this. There's no scandal here. There's no reason to attack her or think that she was doing anything underhanded or dirty or whatever. It was her own email system that she was using for the DNC fundraising and stuff like that. And they got the emails anyway. Russia hacked the email system of John Podesta, her campaign manager, I believe. And in the end, there was so little in those emails that they could use to attack her that they had to make shit up, claim that she was like running a pedophile network with John Podesta and stuff. That's how QAnon was born. So anyway, the point is that this whole thing, like all of it, was nonsense. It was all fabricated trash.
Watergate.
And they're saying that what's his name, that Obama, I guess, covered this up for her or whatever. Come on, get a grip on reality. Honestly, it's embarrassing.
The truth is, Watergate was nothing compared to this. The declassified DOJ report exposes the FBI got hacked. That U.S. data from a source but never fully reviewed key drives. The data showed Obama's emails and State Department info were compromised, and he used Loretta Lynch to pressure Comey to avoid a Clinton-related scandal. And there it is right there. In fact, let me show you this right now. Let me show you this clip about what's going on. This is Speaker Mike Johnson. We'll show you what he had to say about it.
What's the role of the House here specifically? I mean, people want to see subpoenas. They want to see depositions. They want to see whether it be Brennan, Clapper, potentially the president, the former president of the United States. Are you willing to go down that route? Because a lot of people want to see some of these folks questioned under oath.
Of course. Look, I think we have a responsibility to follow the truth where it leads. And
give it a fucking rest, brother, really. This is disgusting. These people are vile. They are actually calling for a former president to be put in prison. This is what dictatorships do. Again, it's all intended to distract from the fact that Trump is absolutely in the Epstein files. He's all over them. We've known this for 10 years when Gawker leaked the dude's flight logs.
And to do it in an unbiased fashion, to do effectively the opposite of what that other team did. They're engaged in a partisan political plot to take down their foe and the other party. We need to be about the rule of law and bringing order to the chaos. And searching out the truth, because the American people are owed those answers. So we have some very bright, very capable, very strong leaders at judiciary and oversight. You know, Chairman Jim Jordan, Chairman Jamie Comer, and
yeah, these guys are super. What's the word I'm looking for? Super competent and intelligent and honest and have integrity and all that, right? Yeah.
The other committees that would be involved, and I do expect that. Whether there's a special counsel appointed, which some are suggesting, and or in conjunction with the House investigations, that we will get the answers, and there will be accountability to the extent that we're able to do that, referring people to the DOJ for prosecution and any other measure that.
The disturbing fact is that every time, like, the left gains the upper hand with the narrative with Donald Trump, where Trump is very obviously in the Epstein files, he does something really, really fucked up. Like, last time he was in hot water. What was it? I'm trying to remember what happened specifically. He had a bad poll or something like that, and he sent Marines into Los Angeles. There's a massive protest, and he sent Marines into Los Angeles. Like, military turned on United States citizens. And now it's clear as day he's on the Epstein files. We all know that for a fact. And he's now trying to arrest Obama. Disgusting.
Is appropriate as we begin to uncover more of the facts.
Does it get tricky at all with the former president, President Obama, looking at what his role in this is and bringing him in for some sort of deposition, potential subpoena?
Well, listen, I mean, we have no concern about that. If it's uncomfortable for him, he shouldn't have been involved in overseeing this.
He wasn't. You are assuming guilt ahead of time. You're assuming guilt before anything. If it's uncomfortable for him, he says.
Which is what it appears to us has happened. There's a lot of allegations on the table. Our job is to go and follow each of those trails and to find out the truth. So those are very serious allegations with very serious implications, but we're going to have very serious people working on it, and we will.
I bet, yeah. Serious people like James Comer, right? Absolutely.
We'll get the answers.
They will get the answers. Let me show you the second half of just the highlights of what got declassified. Obama approved federal power to blunt the Clinton investigations. Do you realize, I mean, any one of these things is
like, all of this shit is nonsense.
Staggering. Comey decided to exonerate Clinton before key interviews were even done. He's already, this ridiculous evidence suggests.
I love that they're pretending that Comey was involved in this. Comey started the investigation against Hillary 10 days before the election, which absolutely, of course, interfered with the election.
Lynch tried to influence the probe or leak info to Clinton's team. The FBI drafted a memo to access the drives, but access was killed by the Obama DOJ.
This is complete bullshit. Like, literally none of this is true. And also, the government has no right to access Hillary's information. That's her personal information. The government cannot come in and, like, try to grab my hard drive. That is illegal for good reason. It was not government work she was doing. It was not her government email. It was her personal email.
Facts are out. Accountability must be next. Lance, come on, man. This is massive, massive.
He's absolutely right in that it is a massive attempt to distract from the fact that Trump is in the Epstein files and he took advantage of young girls who could not defend themselves. So, yeah. Good job on distracting from the Epstein thing. I wonder, did these guys talk about the fact that Trump is in the Epstein files and that he took advantage of children? And that there were lawsuits against Trump by somebody named Katie Johnson specifically, using a pseudonym, who dropped the lawsuit because she's getting so many death threats that goes into vivid detail about what Trump did to her. Disturbing, vivid detail. Or I wonder if they've talked about that. You guys think they've talked about that on here at all? Maybe?
Almost so massive. If we're not careful, we'll breeze right by it and not realize what we talked about with Watergate was nothing compared to all of this.
Well, here's the deal, Gene. I was concerned, I should say, till today, that the Washington Post and New York Times, they're not going to cover this. I mean, they're not.
Well, of course they're covering it. Obviously, they're covering it. But they're also pointing out that this is a distraction from Epstein. We cannot let this go.
Going to cover this. They're going to try to change the subject because they're all part of the Democrat.
We're changing the subject, he says. We are changing the subject. It's me and you guys. Totally, absolutely.
Apparatus. And if they do cover it, it's going to be, oh, this is revenge politics. This is all old. We already knew all this stuff. But here's the deal. Donald Trump today, and you probably have the clip because I know you. In the clip today, they ask him a question there about whatever is going on. He goes, hey, that's not the question you should be asking. You should be asking about Barack Hussein Obama and his criminal conspiracy.
Yeah, that's called distraction, of course.
And every bad thing you could think of, they're guilty of. So if Donald Trump is going to keep on doing what he's doing, this is going to move to the front page. Whether the left likes it or not, they'll be forced to cover it because here's the real, we're dancing around the real story. The real story is the intelligence community came up with a definitive conclusion. Russia did not have the sophistication to engage in hacking or interfering with.
Nobody ever claimed that Russia hacked our voting machines. No one ever said that. I don't know a single person who ever said that. They interfered through disinformation campaigns, obviously. And Trump helped. He contributed.
The election. Obama said, I don't like the report. That's not good enough. That's not what we're going to say.
No, he didn't.
So they revised it, and they have a record of their deputies' assistants who said, well, this is what our findings are. Basically, the bosses said, no, we want you to go back and assume that Moscow is involved. We want to know why Moscow did it and how Moscow's changed.
This is bullshit.
In other words, Russia is the focus. Got it?
Boy, they are trying really hard to distract from Epstein, right? And the fact that Donald Trump is on Jeffrey Epstein's lists, I don't think I've ever seen anybody try so hard to distract from Jeffrey Epstein. Jeez. Have you seen if MAGA is getting distracted by his recent buttery mail stunt? Yes, they are. Absolutely. Yep. They are getting distracted. It's working. I'm not going to get distracted, and I'm not going to let Democrats get distracted either. I'm not going to forget what they did and what they are doing right now.
Clapper, Comey, and the mistake I think that is going to be a smoking gun is Clapper gives a director, he's in Chelsea Gabber's job, right, back then. So he gives a directive to all the other intelligence agencies to, per the President of the United States, focus on Russia. And so you know for the date that Obama met with them in order to tell them go after the Russian narrative. And it was after Trump's elected, and therefore it was in order to sabotage his presidency.
Well,
These people are the biggest fucking victims on planet Earth, right? My God.
it's not even how you. It's not up for discussion. Is this what he was doing or not? That's the part I want everybody to understand.
That's simply not true. This is not what was happening. This is never what was happening. You live in a delusion. Honestly, they don't. They don't live in a delusion. They know full well that what they're saying here is a lie. They know it's a lie, and they're doing it and saying it anyway.
Let me go back to that clip the tweet that I was showing you. Let me read from that DOJ report what's in that little red box here. He says, Obama's not in the mood to mar the very final segment of his presidency, his legacy, with a scandal around a leading nominee for the Democrat Party. To deal with this, he's using Attorney General Loretta Lynch to mount pressure on FBI Director James Comey, alas, so far with no concrete results. I mean, Chad.
Who the holy heck is Chad?
It's right there in black and white.
You know, what keeps...
Dude, I'm sorry. That is a really awful name. Chad? I'm not a fan. I would never name my kid Chad. Maybe it's because of, like, our modern kind of cultural view of the name Chad being like, you know, Chads and Stacys and incel ideology or whatever.
going in my mind, y'all, is that 1980s song by Queen, Another One Bites the Dust. Now, I don't know how to work in the word another conspiracy theory bites the dust into the tune, but yet something else that President Trump said years ago is not a theory, it's not a conspiracy, it's a fact.
No, it's just a complete bald-faced lie. These people are just lying. And boy, are they desperate to distract from Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think I've ever seen somebody try so hard to protect a pedophile in my life. And I don't understand why anybody would be trying to do it anyway. Just disgusting.
Now all the receipts are coming due. Thank the Lord. Whatever happened in 2020, and all of us have our conspiracy theories there too. I think the left is going to come to the conclusion they should have left well enough alone, because this guy has had 4 years to think about it, enact a plan.
Yeah, the left is at fault. It's my fault that Donald Trump has become an authoritarian, because I call out authoritarianism, you see. Right, totally. So would you say that you're indifferent to suffering or no? No, I'm not indifferent to suffering. I don't want any suffering ever, anywhere. No, I don't think so. I'm very opposed to suffering. I stepped on a worm the other day and I felt absolutely terrible. I felt like such a sack of shit. It didn't do anything to deserve that. And I think I killed it. I blew on it afterward and it responded to my blowing on it. But I think it died. I'm super sad.
Put it in place and build a team that would pursue this like a dog after a car coming through the neighborhood. So here we are. All this stuff's been unveiled. I believe that the unraveling of these conspiracies that are coming true by Obama is going to point to an Obama-Clinton conspiracy that happened to throw a coup into the works in the American public like nothing else. You're right. Watergate is nothing compared to this. It's a piece of sand, a dot of sand on the beach compared to what these people did to the American people and to President Trump.
Oh, without a doubt. Okay, Rick, let me get your thoughts on what you're hearing about Obama, Clinton, Comey.
Yeah, I think it's going to...
Dude, I'm really trying, really, really hard to get the timing down on this, but I'm doing such a bad job.
Come down to what crime specifically can they go after Obama for? There's no question that there needs to be arrests all over the place.
He's a judge, or was a judge. Rick Green used to be. He lost his election, and then he sued everybody in the race for mistreating him or some stupid shit. God, these people are such fucking victims, dude. Anyway, he used to be a judge, so he knows this whole thing is bullshit. He knows damn well it's bullshit.
From the auto pen, I think that's probably the area I'd like to see, the most press right now, to Anthony Fauci and the fraud and everything that happened there, to this hoax as well. And the question is, what was...
He'd like to see the auto pen thing addressed or examined, because he knows that that's probably the direction that they could go that is most likely to get results. I would, if I had to guess, I would say that's probably the case. He probably thinks people are going to be able to lie and propagandize and twist shit around. Wait, what is this thing? Is this an aura of some sort? Oh, that was weird. He probably thinks people be able to, like, it's a good area of attack because it's a weak point in the Constitution. That's my guess.
Clearly, it led all the way to the point of the impeachment of the president of the United States and an attempt to convict and remove the president of the United States. So there has to be some crimes in there along the way. I don't know specifically what they're going to be, but when Tulsi Gabbard uses the phrase treasonous conspiracy, you know they've thought this through, and there has to be some concrete things.
They absolutely have. They have 100% thought through how to distract everybody from the fact that Trump is in the Epstein files. He's totally correct on that point.
To be some hooks that they can hang this on. That's what it's really going to come down to. It can't just be talk. I think our people are going to get tired of just talk. We love the fact that everybody's saying this needs to be done, but we want to see these investigations lead to actual arrests, actual prosecutions, and we want to see some people go to jail for the things that have happened over the last 10 or 12 years to try to undermine the entire American justice system and weaponize our intelligence agencies against our own people.
These people live in a delusion, dude. It's so fucking crazy.
You're absolutely right, Rick. And this is where I think you tapped into where the bulk of Americans are. They're frustrated. They're tired of hearing something, and then nothing happens. This is just another reason why the whole Epstein thing kind of blew up bigger than what it was worth, is because you heard there was this list. Now there's no list. What is it? Is somebody lying? Is somebody covering up?
Oh, that's interesting.
That was the part of it. But Lance, the story goes further. Look at this. Gunther Engelman post just in. Pam Bondi fires Maureen Comey from her job as the top DOJ Manhattan prosecutor, the daughter of James Comey. But wait, as if that wasn't enough, look at this video. James Comey actually posted a video where he's actually reading his script on his support. Watch.
Reading his script on his support.
Reservoir is in grave danger right now. Trump and the hacks who lead the Department of Justice are hammering at the dam day after day, trying to turn it into just another gold leaf-covered Trump subsidiary. Our best hope is that good people will stay and do what Maureen asked.
Absolutely agreed. I have to tell you, though, James Comey, this is 100% your doing. Every last bit of this is on you. You got Trump into the White House. This is your fault. So I don't want to hear it.
Have the courage to do the right thing always. You may get fired for acting that way, but there's honor in that, and nothing but disgrace for those who don't stand up.
Absolutely agreed with him here.
There are going to be hard weeks in the Trump era, and this was one for my family. But there are plenty of good people still in the department committed to doing things the right way, committed to the rule of law. For them, because of them, keep the faith.
Okay, so first of all, in the video, he's reading because he doesn't want to say anything wrong. But
what, like you don't use a script? Are you shitting me right now? And how do you even know that he's using a script? You have no clue if he's using a script. You're guessing.
His arms don't move. It looks like he's handcuffed. I'm just my opinion. It's not the facts. But Lance.
Okay. So you're telling us that you know that your opinion is just nonsense then. Am I reading this correctly?
I'm thinking it was a pretty good week for President Trump. I didn't think it was a bad week. Maybe bad for Comey.
One of the things as a believer, one of the phenomena of human nature that sobers me is the capacity for self-deception. That we've talked about this before, that the Bible talks about, people start off, according to the New Testament, deceiving others, and then they become deceived themselves. These are delusional people. And I think if you get under the skin of Brennan and Comey, I don't know Clapper that well, but these two.
John Brennan, I believe, was previously, he used to be the FBI director, I think.
Two guys, you've seen enough of them to know that they actually believe that they're trying to preserve the country from an evil threat, even if they have to break the law to do it. And that's the rationalization that's behind them. Something nobody said on the show so far, it's going to come out tomorrow, that there were 8 thumb drives of data that Comey intentionally refused to review.
And you know all of this information because you have some secret source, right?
That had to do with Hillary Clinton's email scandal. So Strzok and those people were told to lay off the research because they were going to let the issue die. It was too politically radioactive to continue it. Comey is the one who, when Barack Obama was to be debriefed about the findings that Russia has nothing to do with it, Comey's the one that walked out of the room and said that he disagreed with the results of that because he had a plan to go plant stories with the New York Times and the Washington Post about Trump. So he, of all of them, like, is he the one with the seashells with the, like, what was the with
86, 47.
Yeah, he said get rid of Donald Trump. It didn't mean murder him like Donald Trump's weird little nutcases claimed.
86, 46. This guy, I mean, him and Brent.
He said 86, 46. Oh, that's funny because the far right said that about Biden, 86, 46, get rid of Joe Biden. And nobody said a word about that being like, a death threat or anything at the time. It was never about being a death threat. It was just get rid of him. And it's pretty clear that this guy said that multiple times, right? He said it all the time. He even made the slip up.
And I really believe, and if you pray for justice, these two cats actually need to have a forensic exposure of what they did that was wrong because they've corrupted and
What? Hulk Hogan died? Holy heckers, I had no idea. Wow, that's kind of a shame that anybody would die. I don't want anyone dead. But he was a scumbag for what that's worth, like a complete piece of shit. That's a shame, though.
Destroyed those agencies.
And we had
Hulk Hogan. I'm sorry, chat's been talking about Hulk Hogan dying for like 2 hours. I know, and I saw somebody make reference to like Ozzy knowing the Hulk or something, and I didn't connect the dots. I guess it just took somebody spelling it out for me to actually understand. Damn, that's sad. He was 71. His liver was about 90. I bet.
Years ago on this show, former CEO of Overstock, Patrick Byrne, and he said this stuff back then that seemed like, okay, now you've got to the conspiracy there. That's a little too far for me, Patrick. I can't go there. But it's all true. Come on, Rick. I mean, this is amazing stuff.
I was the same way as well. I was laughing because I mean, I'm usually the skeptic going, I don't know if it's that bad, and let's not call everything conspiracy.
Since when are you the skeptic? Who the fuck told you that you're the skeptic in this scenario? What?
Conspiracy and so I was the same way with a lot of this stuff. And I mean, I was a defender of the FBI and
Sure.
just didn't want to believe, I think, that the corruption could reach to that level and that it could corrupt an entire agency, like Lance just said. But it did. I mean, they managed to, for a long enough time, get their people in the positions. And maybe it's exactly what Lance was saying, even with the line prosecutor or agent, even with them, that there was just a complete deception and that they really believed they were doing the right thing. And a lot of the things that they did to try to stop this, orange man bad thing that they were buying into. But
Orange man bad thing that they were buying into. Well, Orange Man is in fact bad, so yes.
But it really did completely destroy those agencies and undermine the rule of law. And we talked about this last week, I think, or week before. Our trust in the institutions, we're patriotic people. And so we want to save our country and we want to pass it to our kids. And we know the rule of law only works if people believe in it and we have respect for it. And so for that guy, for Comey to stand there and use those phrases and say those things in such a hypocritical way, knowing what he did and what his cronies did, it's just sickening, man. And that's why prosecutions are necessary. Talk is not enough. And it may not rise to the level of Obama. Same with the auto pen. It may not, go all the way up to the chief of staff or whoever, but there were people that absolutely abused these things, and there has to be prosecutions. And I'm not impatient on this. I mean, I'm okay with the fact that we're only 6 months in and they need time to do these things, but I will be impatient a year from now if they haven't done it, or even 6 months from now. I mean, people want results on these things.
Chad, what do you think? Do you think they went too fast here? I mean, the other side of this, by rolling all of this out, I mean, if the prosecution has to follow through now, and if they weren't ready, they could possibly jeopardize it. Do you think that's the case, or do you think this is all part of the plan?
I do think it's all part of the plan. And I think that they wouldn't have brought it out to this point. Did they not have enough evidence and enough leading this direction to bring it out? I think they don't want to mess this up, Gene. And look, James Comey and the word honor don't seem to go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Correct.
And people don't trust it. And it's like Rick was talking about the whole Epstein files, and you mentioned it too. When you talk to people, I talked to Uber drivers this week. I was in Arizona speaking at a church. I talked to Border Patrol agents. I talked to people in that church in Tucson, and then a pastor meeting in Phoenix yesterday. People don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein hung himself for nothing, if he hung himself. They don't believe that
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Now they're talking about Epstein.
he and his girlfriend were put in jail for nothing. And so I think that's kind of forced the hand of the Trump administration to say, wait a minute, people do expect some kind of ramifications. There's got to be a ripple effect. People have to be held accountable. I think in a bigger sense, though, and this is where I hope this goes, and everybody's thinking about it, but we're not talking about it enough. The reason that FlashPoint Army exists and your show's doing so well is people don't trust the media. And
Right.
nobody can look you in the eye with a straight face these days and say, oh, yeah, you can trust the mainstream press. I believe that their days of trust are long gone. I really thought with all my heart, they're going to try to resuscitate this. They're going to do something
That is so interesting.
that tries to bring back that integrity, but I don't see it. And the fact that they knew this stuff, they knew about Biden's health, they certainly piled on about COVID, and Russia was a media, they added on and piled on and played the whole game with the left. No question in my mind about it.
And the American people paid for all of that Russia collusion.
That Russia collusion shit was real. Donald Trump absolutely 100% for sure did do that. And people went to prison for that. People went to prison for their involvement, for helping Donald Trump do all of that stuff with Russia. Michael Flynn went to prison for assisting. He was Obama's national security advisor. Russia invades Crimea in 2014, and Obama put sanctions on Russia. And I'm trying to remember the chain of events here. Obama was expecting retaliation for the sanctions, but Michael Flynn, they didn't give us any, reciprocal sanctions or any statements or anything. It's just dead silent. And Obama was like, that's weird. Come to find out, upon investigation, Michael Flynn communicated with Russia, with Putin himself, and said, I'm working with Donald Trump. If Trump wins, we'll drop the sanctions. And so they didn't say anything. Russia just put a ton of money into making it very, very difficult to escape disinformation about Donald Trump. Made it very likely that Trump is going to win because of all of the money funneled into advertising and lies and disinformation from Russia about Hillary and stuff. And Trump won and lifted the sanctions on Russia, just like that. And Michael Flynn went to prison for that and got pardoned by Donald Trump, if I remember correctly. Paul Manafort is another person somebody mentioned. Yeah, he was Trump's campaign manager, I believe. A Russian politician, if I remember correctly. It's like, how can anybody unironically say that there was no collusion? Of course there was collusion. Yes, of course there was. It is wild to me, wild, that anybody could possibly say that with a straight face.
Went on for years. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, Lance, I'll let you wrap up. Go ahead. See, I knew you were going to interrupt me, so I called on you. So you're not interrupting.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's, as we've been along together for so long, you're prophetically even letting me interrupt you.
That's right.
So what I want to say is that I'm hearing today, I'm sorry to say it was on Turning Point. It wasn't Charlie. It was one of his guests, one of his, his buddy, his entourage there. And they were talking back and forth. And one of the guys he says, well, this was like 2016. After a while, this was so long ago. I mean, we already know this stuff. And here's the thing the whippersnapper there needs to think about. We have the Church Commission. Maybe we could have our other two guests at some point tell you what that was all about. But we went through a special commission once in the 70s after Watergate to clamp down on this very phenomena. When the intelligence agencies go rogue and start getting involved with manipulating outcomes.
Oh, please.
So it seems weird, but every 50 years, you have got to make a public statement that puts the fear of God on anyone playing games like this. In other words, this cannot fail. This prosecution must succeed, or it will be done again. This has to be such a searing lesson. It's like a bunker busting bomb in Iran right now. This has to make such a deep impression on the left that they'll think 10 times before they raid another Mar-a-Lago or lock up a Bannon and a Navarro or go after, Roger.
Yeah, create a chilling effect is what he's saying. Yes, they want to create a chilling effect. Well, I personally refuse to let that chilling effect happen. I am not going to stop. I am not going to stop criticizing Donald Trump and all this other stuff. It's not happening. This is so evil.
Stone or try to put Donald Trump or a guy like him in jail. So I'm just saying we have to succeed or the incentive is lost to never do this again.
And that's why 26 midterms are really, it all comes back to it. Elections have consequences. What we're enjoying right now is because you guys went out and voted, and you voted the right way, and you got who you wanted in power. This is what's great about our republic that we live in, that you're able to get the people voted that you want. But we're staring down the barrel, Rick, of 2026 midterms. And this could turn on a dime if we're not careful and we take our foot off the gas.
Yeah, so it's one reason, Gene, I really enjoyed that clip you played with David Brody and Speaker Johnson, which I was glad to see my friend Brody get that interview and do such a great job. He's one of the few good journalists left out there.
Make note of people not to hang around or listen to.
But to hear Speaker Johnson say the things that he said and not mince words about it, and that they're willing to press the gas. You guys remember, all the times where Republicans had power and they had things they needed to do to press the gas and to move forward, and they were wimpy about it. They weren't willing to do it. They were afraid it might look bad for the upcoming election. That would destroy the party right now. It would destroy the MAGA movement. It would destroy our momentum. It would destroy our chance to gain ground. And so having the backbone and just the love of justice that says we're going to do the right thing and let the chips fall where they may. We're going to prosecute these things, even if they're going, because they're going to say it. Oh, this is just tit for tat.
I win. Odin is actually really, really difficult to get.
There's so much going on, and President Trump is moving at the speed of sound, and the media can't keep up. And let's face it, a lot of people on our side can't keep up. I do think the media response is a big deal. We all saw Jake Tapper try to recover himself over Biden. I don't know how they're going to handle this. If the evidence is really there, and President Trump's going to talk about it, it's going to come out. I do believe there's a lot of resolve on our side. But look, elections come back to blocking and tackling. And our side has not done well in a midterm election when President Trump is not on the ballot. So we got to go back, and it's got to be the blocking.
I'm sorry, what? Your side hasn't done well while Trump was on the ballot. Is that what he meant to say?
And the tackling, the running, the passing, the catching, the very basics. We got to be really good at that stuff. That's what I'm talking to donors about and pastors about all over the country. This is about turning out Christian vote and voices so that we're heard and felt, because I believe God's given us a point in time, y'all. We're in a season. Now, is it another year and a half, or is it 3.5 and then maybe 8 more where we really correct some of the problems in America? Everybody knows it. Everybody feels it. I was in Israel 2 months ago. I was in Athens, Greece, and then I was in Rome, in Crete, and Malta. And I'm telling you, all over the world, people are doing a sigh of relief. Thank you, Jesus, that President Donald Trump was.
What people are relieved and excited for Trump outside the United States?
Elected, and not that lady who can't put together 2 sentences that are coherent at the same time. So everybody feels it. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
I've been all over the country.
Did you just say Kamala Harris couldn't put 2 coherent sentences together? We talking about the same Kamala Harris and or Donald Trump?
People know that this is a big deal. We have to win in 26 too and keep the momentum going.
Without a doubt.
Amen.
Without a doubt. All right, and let me just say, Ghislaine Maxwell said she's willing to talk to Congress. That's just kind of been like, nobody's talking about that. Yeah.
That's because it hurts Donald Trump and no one wants that to be discussed. Trump is a pedophile. I don't know how it can get any clearer. Dude takes advantage of children.
That would be great television. Anyway, I don't want to get off on the Epstein, but let me explain
No, please get off onto Epstein.
this.
There's a rich joke area here.
And thank you, Chad, for what you said earlier about FlashPoint, because this is why we are here, especially as we go into these such crucial moments in history. 2020 really, I think, so many of us came to an understanding of this is what we're dealing with in America. And if we started seeing things we had no idea of, then COVID comes and we're like, what is this about? We weren't really sure about President Trump in 2016. Many people were not, but they were like, well, this doesn't seem right. But by the time we got COVID, you're going, wait a minute, there's an all-out attack against people of like faith, and we're not getting the truth.
COVID was an attack on religious people? What?
We're not getting the truth. And that's why FlashPoint is here. So I want to give you an opportunity, I haven't said this in a while, to be a part of the FlashPoint army, and you want to be an investor in what we're doing.
Oh my God.
So we are a nonprofit organization. What that?
How is he a nonprofit? I don't understand how that works. You cannot endorse a candidate for public office as a nonprofit. This nonprofit, quote unquote, exists solely to help Donald Trump, and that's it.
What that means is you get tax credit at the end of the year, and we have to stay true to our cause. And what is our cause? Our cause is to educate you and bring you the truth, bring you the fact.
You're failing miserably.
And that's why we are here every week. Right now, 4 nights a week. I don't know. Let me just be totally blunt and honest with you. I don't know how we're going to do 5 nights a week. And I think that way, but then I think, but we've got to do this. We must get to 5 nights a week. And that's our goal, is to be there by September. We're aiming for that. We're pushing to be 5 nights a week. And that doesn't seem enough, which is why we're rolling out the FlashPoint network. But I want to talk to you, the people that watch FlashPoint on a regular basis. If you are wanting to be a part of what's happening here as we bring you new things, we talked, if you didn't see the show last night, we dove a little bit, just a little bit, into the crypto thing and what's going on with our financial world, because that is a massive issue facing us, you and me, your retirement. What should I do? How do we do this? So we're developing even now. In fact, I just got a text back from Ed Rush. He thinks he can make it work for our Indiana FlashPoint. We're gonna pull in something, a special session on that daytime, so that we can train you on crypto. Now,
so that we can train you on crypto. Fascinating. Okay.
Like a lot of people, we're going, I don't really trust that. Should I invest? We're going to talk about all of that and give you the how-tos of what you should do, what you should not do, and let you make your own decisions. Not making money off of what you invest or not do, but we are bringing you the educational piece, and that's why FlashPoint is here. Now, the FlashPoint events, as we go around the country, we want to get it to you in person, and that's why we do that as well.
Jesus Christ, these people are just pitiful and embarrassing. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. That is wild.